Hello everyone, this is Lady Court from Lady Court Tales. I am filming my screen. Yeah, I know, it's not very professional, but this is not my first line of work. It's new to me, and I'm doing the best I can with what I have. And kind of experienced at that, being a former teacher, working with minimal to make things happen. So this is from nationalgeographic.com. Other YouTube sites, channels have discussed this. It got my attention because as a child I used to look up at the sky and watch clouds and try and guess at what they look like and play the cloud guessing game. And we also went into other people's property to fish. We went out into the woods and shot off bottle rockets in a war. We played kick the can. We played cops and robbers under lights at night in the street. We were the generation prior to these video games that are so prevalent. Pac-Man came out and things like that, but very few had them in their homes. The Atari, and most of us went to the arcade. I rarely went. It just didn't hold my attention. But now it's an epidemic. So we were the last to come out without computer-required courses in high school. We were the last really to come out without being totally indoctrinated into staying in the house and not knowing how to entertain yourself. So, at my age, I do have a little bit behind me to realize that something's not right. 11 new cloud types named first in 30 years. I'm going to read this to you and make comments because I read the article and actually laughed out loud to myself. Without personal technology such as smartphones, these new clouds might have never been added to the International Cloud Atlas. Let's look. Here's one type. It's called the Asperatus cloud. And they were spotted over a decade ago. Now, that's a very broad statement. I mean, was it 11 years ago? Was it 12 years ago? Did you notice them 20 years ago, 30 years ago? I mean, what were you guys doing in science, in meteorology and climatology? What were you doing? Nobody noticed any of this? No farmers noticed any of this? Who were outdoors all the time? None of my generation noticed any of this, and the prior generations. And they weren't noticed because we'll get into that later. This is a mammatus cloud. Big. This is also one of the two new classifications. They don't have pictures of all of them, but I'm just showing you these. I didn't see these as a child. I guess the closest that would have come to it would have been the Nimbus cloud. The gigantic clouds before a major storm. So, I don't know. This is bizarre. But I can tell you, I taught physical science once. Science is not my degree, but they needed me along with all the other English courses I taught. I did take a lot of science in college, even though I wasn't a science major, more than I needed. And I remember taking my students outside to identify clouds, and that would have been back in, let's see, somewhere around 2000, 4. And I noticed back then there were clouds in the sky that didn't match the textbook. So I just threw that in there for a little extra information. This is by Sarah Gibbons. Let's see what Miss Sarah has to say here. When satellites first began taking photos of our Earth, it revolutionized the way we saw our atmosphere, providing images on a grand scale from above. Now the advent of personal tech, such as smartphones, is giving us a new perspective on the sky from below. This increased use of technology is what prompted the World Meteorological Organization to add 11 new cloud classifications to their International Cloud Atlas, a globally recognized source for meteorologists. A far cry from simple white puffs, these 11 new clouds types roll, dip, and menace their way across the sky. Menace. That's a really interesting choice for a verb in the sentence. Yep, they're menacing. All right, so Gavin Pretor Penny, founder of the Cloud Appreciation Society, believes that this democratized access to photographing and sharing images, and it will help create a sense of interconnectivity and appreciation for how we treat our atmosphere. So now we're democratized because we can share things, I guess, on our phones, the internet, etc. And it'll create a sense of interconnectivity amongst us, and we'll appreciate this more. There is a video I'm not going to play, but look at that. Look at that. It looks like the ocean, but it's a cloud. People may wonder, does it really matter to have these Latin names for clouds? Said Pretor Penny. To learn the names of different recognizable characteristics is to become more in tune with the sky. It counters the pressures of the digital world because when you gaze at the sky, it distracts you from pressures on the ground. Okay. First, it's because of phones that we name these 11 clouds and our interconnectivity across the world and the internet. But, to separate yourself from the phone, you need to become more in tune with the sky and get rid of the pressures of the digital world when you gaze at it, and it helps distract you. Really? That sounds like some new age BS to me. All right. That's one of the parts I honestly just laughed out loud at. These 11 editions are the first updates that the Atlas has received in 30 years, and much of the change can be attributed to citizen scientists who can share and discuss clouds by uploading photos to the Atlas's site. Oh, I guess they were all lazy prior to the phone, and nobody traveled or took pictures or anything. Nobody could see with their own eyes, and they needed the world to have cell phones so they could take pictures and send it to them so that they could see these new clouds. Yes, I'm rolling my eyes now. Alrighty then. 2017 is the first year that the renowned atlas will be published entirely online, but a hardbound version will follow later this year. Asperatus, that type of cloud, Latin for roughness, is the cloud type that has citizen scientists most excited and has been a special victory for UK-based Cloud Appreciation Society. The photo I showed you above, they were first spotted in 2006 and captured the attention for its inability to be described by existing cloud types. Wow, 2006. Took us that long, huh? Let's see. Marked by small divot-like features that create chaotic ripples across the sky, apparatus was championed by enthusiasts who noticed they did not accurately fall under the existing categories. This is a quote, it stood out slightly. It looked like turbulent waves, as if you're looking at the ocean from below, said Pretter, who had been vying for the new classification for nearly a decade. Other clouds that formerly, oops, sorry, I'm not stopping this. Hang on. Other clouds that formerly went by more colloquial names, such as the wave-like Kelvin-Helmholtz cloud and the fall streak holes, will now be recognized with the Latin names Fluctus and Cavum, respectively. So people gave them nicknames in a sense, and they've changed them to Latin names, which science does. Everything is classified in Latin, which is a dead language, but therefore everybody is on the same page. The International Cloud Atlas was first created in 1896 and has been a resource of cloud types and photos that have helped train meteorologists for decades. So, let's see, 1896. So for 120 years approximately, nobody noticed these things and bothered to write them down. I guess they were so stupid not to notice these things. And given the fact that a lot of our country was agriculturally based, because most grew their own food and worked on farms, and it was a part of life, just nobody had the sense to look up and notice that there were 11 that were a little different. Okay. A paper publishing in May by Royal Meteorological Society will look at apparatus cloud formations through photos taken by citizen scientists. They plan to reveal what sort of distinct weather patterns create these turbulent clouds. Okay, so they plan to reveal what distinct weather patterns actually create these type of clouds. They don't know yet, but just hold your breath. They're planning to reveal it. Let's see. Pretter Penny hopes that a renewed interest in cloud watching will help people find moments of reflection and quiet in a hectic digital age, saying, quote, "This interest in naming the clouds helps connect us to this atmosphere and connect us to this world by understanding more, knowing more, and caring more." Oh, thank God for you people with cell phones. I mean, if it wasn't for you, we might have never noticed this. Okay. Yeah. Never noticed this. And, looking up in the clouds, caring more. What more? That was the second part I had to laugh at. I'm sorry. Let's get down to that. Okay. So, as far as I can see, that's the end of it. There's a whole bunch of other things on National Geographic. Alrighty then. But I wanted to address this. I don't like to be talked to like I'm stupid. Because, you know what? I'm not stupid. I have a memory. I know. These things didn't exist. The reason You didn't notice them before then as scientists because they weren't there. And if they were there, in the last, let's say, 30 years, you weren't allowed to talk about it. Because it's not us that are stupid, it's you. I mean, what a lousy job y'all have done. And the people in the past, our ancestors, they were not stupid. They would have named these because weather meant everything to them and their success or failure in life. You are not fooling me. This is ridiculous. Wake up, people. There are 11 new classifications of clouds because they've created 11 new types of clouds with geoengineering. Chemtrails. Harvard has admitted it now that they're going to start doing geoengineering to help protect us from the sun and the rays of the sun. It's really laughable. And the fact that people even buy into this is unbelievable. Oh, wait, I'll say it's believable, because honestly, I was told by TV and other people, mainly television news, what to believe about 9/11. And when I finally woke up one day, by researching and looking at other people's research and videos, etc., I realized, wow, I was blind and programmed. A building does not fall in on its footprint like that unless it has somehow been a demo with all kind of explosives, a controlled demo of some kind. If a plane hit it at the top might tilt over. Even in a very, I guess, rare circumstance, it could get enough bending if the plane had been big enough. If the plane actually went into the building, that's questionable, that it would, be weak at that one point, and therefore at that point and everything at the top would be jeopardized. But the lower part of the building, I don't think so. I know so. I know that's not possible. Physics. Physics, ladies and gentlemen. Go study. I'm not even a science major, and I know this. But when I looked back at it and saw that, wow, I was shocked at myself. I didn't see it in 2001. And I saw the second plane hit live, supposedly, after the first plane hit, thinking the first plane was an accident, second plane, no, there's something really going on here. But the narrative on what actually happened, I'm sorry, it's bullshit. Excuse my French. I don't know how to put it more plainly. You need to go back and look at things you've been told and look at it objectively. Turn off the volume. Don't listen to the narrative and really study it for yourself. Don't be swayed by others. Please. Along with this, the 11 new classifications of clouds and other things, it's time for you to do your own research and study and stop regurgitating what the television tells you to think. It's control. And we have been controlled very well. Thank you for your time. I hope this wasn't too torturous, but I wanted to get this out. And look up, people, especially those of you over the age of 45. Pay attention and think. Think for yourself. Peace.